Hello, hello everybody. All right. All right. So, hello, happy Sunday, everybody. Gonna do my usual shtick here. I am messing around with a new setup, so I'll probably be asking your guys' input as we begin this whole process here. In the meantime, gonna get my usual stuff out of the way here. And in the meantime, alright, getting my usual stuff out of the way here, so bear with me. Alright, just getting the usual shameless self-promotion out of the way here. Little hydration break. Stay hydrated. Very important. Wonder, can we maybe avoid this entirely? We shall see. I don't know about entirely. Sorry, still working out some stuff. All right. All right. So, shameless self-promotion is out of the way. All right, still messing with a few things on the setup here, so bear with me while we work out a few kinks here. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work on right now. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm gonna get that fixed right now. So bear with me just a moment. Okay. All right. Do we now have sound here? We should have sound, yes? All right, awesome. Okay. All right, and so now we have sound here as well. Bring that sound down just a little bit. So now we should have sound here as well, correct? Hey, all right, tremendous. Okay, and then yep. All right, cool. So now when I'm on here, we can do the same thing. Awesome, tremendous. So thank you guys for being patient while I get this all worked out. Hang on. All right, hold on just a moment here. Okay, well, whatever happened there is now fixed. So, there we go. Awesome. Okay. Alright, let's turn on some stuff. Let's make some machines happen. Right. Alright. So I'm going to work on this whole camera positioning here. The audio quality is good. You guys can hear me just fine. It's a new camera, so I'm still working out a few bugs. No problems with audio, no distortion, no delay. Awesome. Tremendous. Okay, so as the stream states, I don't have a whole lot of new stuff to work on right now because I am currently in the process of trying to find either some ESD boosters for 3 consoles, because those are extraordinarily hard to come by right now, or I need to find PCBs that will adequately bypass them to where I can still resell them, because I have 3 consoles with bad ESD filters. So until then, I have just a couple of little things that I'm working on. I did, however, purchase, for those of you that were not in stream last week, and I don't remember if I fully showed it off last week. Where are you? I know you're here somewhere. Here you are. So, for those of you who haven't been here lately, I finally have an SSD cloner that we attempted to use a couple weeks back and failed because the one piece of information that I actually needed off of that drive was corrupted. So, we did manage to make it work, but it failed because of corrupted data. However, I also have this. I finally got a UART device. So I'll be getting the software, either the UART software that is more mainstream used, or I know that the coder released a free to use version. So I may download that, and I'm going to buy a broken PS5 off of eBay somewhere, and we're going to try and test out some UART. So that's going to be a fun little project that we'll be working on in the future. However, in the meantime, like the stream says, we have a joystick that needs to be replaced on this PS5 DualSense, and we have this Switch Lite, which has been the bane of my existence for so long. We finally got this repaired months ago, and I went to go test it and found out that the left joystick and D-pad, except for one button. God damn it, Retro. Don't do this to me. The new setup has already given me anxiety, and I'm on 0% nicotine, alright? I am very, very on edge. Left side joystick and almost all of the D-pad buttons, except the right D-pad button for some reason. That works just fine. But joystick doesn't work, and up, down, and left on the D-pad don't work, as well as, I don't know if this button works or not, but we'll have to test it. This side is totally fine. So we're going to check the soldering on the connector that I had to put on here, as well as probably take that board out and check the contacts, make sure everything's good, because it was dropped, and we'll see what happens from there. So, in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, you know what, let me clean this up a little bit. This is quite a mess. But as you can see, it's a mess. So, we're going to spritz it down a little bit here. I'm going to try and clean it up a little. Got some spare paper towel around here. Let's give this a little bit of a wipe down. Try and tidy it up just a tad. Alright. Well, it's better anyway. It's not great, but it's better. Alright. So, bam, DualSense. Alright, let's come down a little bit here. Try and get you guys at a not weird angle. Something like that. Come in a little bit closer. Demi, what's doing, my friend? Always a pleasure. Always indeed. Alright, so jumping right into it here. So first things first, we're gonna grab our spudger. We're gonna pop off these L1, R1 and R2. Oh, sorry, R1 and L1 is what we're popping off. There we go. And from there, let's make sure we have, oh, we do. I already have it on. Awesome. All right. From there, we're gonna very carefully and gently pry underneath a little covering right here. Get that exposed. Hang on one second. Let me try and fix this real quick. I feel like it's way too blurry for what it should be. Hang on. I don't know why it's so blurry. Okay. Yeah. Alright, well, I mean, does it get better if I move away? Yeah, kinda. Then you can't see much. Alright, well, I mean, realistically, I just need a better camera. This is a janky old camera that I had lying around. But either way, okay, so now that we've removed these, just go ahead and pop that loose. Go, remove that. For those of you that are watching for actual education purposes, I apologize for the horrible quality. However, there are two little tabs right here and right here. We're going to pop those tabs like so. Oh, actually, we should take the screws out before we do that. Let's do that. So, screws. There are 1, 2, and then underneath is 3, and 4. So we're going to take those out. Now we're replacing the joystick on this because it has horrible stick drift on the right side, and I attempted to clean it using some BW100 and clean out the potentiometers, and it did not work. So we're just going to replace the whole assembly because I don't like replacing just the potentiometers when I can replace the entire joystick assembly. It's a little more soldering, but overall for me it's just way easier to replace the whole assembly. And this way they have a brand new assembly to work with. Alright. Okay, so now that the screws are out, we can go back to those two tabs right here. Again, to show, it's right here and right here, these two little tabs. So I'm going to pry up underneath those tabs, pop up, pop up like that, and then you'll see that the outer casing will just begin to separate. There we go. Let's pull it apart a little bit. Alright. There we go. Didn't want to cooperate for a moment there. All right. So now that we're in the back, we'll go ahead and remove the battery. Boop. Battery will sit over here, and then there's another screw right here that holds this back plate in. Before you remove that screw and that back plate, there is a small ribbon cable right here. Man, I really wish this thing had better quality. All right, don't worry, we're gonna get a new camera. It's a little blurry. However, there's a ribbon cable right here. Just bring it up a little bit closer so you can kind of see it. Right here, that plugs into the back that we're going to remove. So I usually recommend tweezers to do this. However, I've done this so many times that I can just remove it with my fingers. Okay, there we go. So if it comes out, that's not a big deal. You can always put it back in. Just put it off to the side because that is part of the, I believe, either the microphone or the speaker assembly for the controller itself. However, once you have that, go ahead and remove the screw in the back here. And from there, you can just go ahead and lift off this assembly, this little bracket piece here. There we go, just like that. All right, from there we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ribbon cables that need to be removed. So we'll go ahead and remove those very gently because they are fragile little ribbon cables. So you want to push down on the board. That's easiest, is to just give a gentle push on the board while you're gently wiggling these ribbon cables free. It makes it so much easier and a lot less tension to tear the ribbon cable possibly. So just again pushing down on the board and just a quick little wiggle. There we go, like so. And then this tiny one here on the bottom, again, I usually recommend using tweezers, but I've done enough where I can just kind of slightly wiggle it out without tearing it. And now all your ribbon cables are free. From there, we're going to push it back on these joysticks so it pushes the board free, just like that. And then the board comes free. So now we'll go ahead and take off the thumbsticks first and foremost. Go ahead and remove those. Alright, so the joystick we're going to be working on, had to reorient myself because it's backwards here. Joystick we're going to be working on is this one right here. So, what we'll do, first of all, I know it's kind of hard to see, but you'll see that the rumble packs are soldered to the board with these wirings, so we need to make sure that we remove that. So with that, what we will do So if I forget, please remind me. It is black on top, red on the bottom. Although it does have that little R right there, that should probably tell me that's where the red goes, but that could also be the left side joystick. Nope, it has it on both sides. And apparently this one's already been replaced before, so that's fun. Okay, well, either way. Alright, so we're going to put down a little bit of flux. And we're going to use a different set of tweezers because we don't need big boys. Alright, and so real gently, we're just gonna grab hold of the wire as we desolder, and boop, there it goes, just pulls right off. And we'll do the same thing again. Boop, there we go. And we'll go and do the same thing for the other side. Whoever replaced it didn't do a very good job of cleaning that flux off. So just put a little dab. A little dab will do you. Alright, same thing here. Desolder number 1. Try that again. Desolder number 1, there we go. Desolder number 2, just like that. Alright. For the record, my soldering iron's set at 400 degrees Celsius. If you're just starting out wanting to do those things, then there you go. That's what I have mine set to. Alright. And now, with that removed, we can move the controller assembly out of the way. And we can focus on just this little board here. So the first thing I'm going to do is just give it a little bit of a cleaning. I'm going to attempt to get this weighed down pretty well. As much as I can anyway. See, the problem here Alright, well, it's not the best of looks, but there you go, that's something. Alright, so we're going to get a little clean first. Just going to spray the whole area with 99% IPA. This thing is not very well secured. That's fine. Cleaning up a lot of the old flux from whoever used this last and didn't fix it properly, or maybe thought they did and didn't realize the other one had drift as well. I don't know. I bought it broken off of eBay and it was working fine until the stick drift showed itself, so that's what happens. Okay, so now that that is good, we're going to go ahead and drop flux on all of these little holes, and we're going to mix in some leaded solder to each of these little holes here to make it easier to wick up. Sorry guys, 1 second. This is Roy. Hey, just fine, how are you? Oh, to you as well, man. Oh, still. Right. Really? Uh, right. Is it still clicking? Okay. Right. That's very weird. Uh-huh. Okay, so just to make sure, when you're pressing it, the power button on, is it actually turning on the machine, but it's just not lighting up? Okay, gotcha. Right. Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys, just one more minute. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, it more than likely is going to be something with the power board or the Nexus cable, which I have plenty of extras. Um, if that is the case, that's an easy swap. And if you want to, bring it by and drop it off for a little bit before work, or leave it with me overnight, I can definitely make sure we get it fixed for you. Like I said, it's covered under warranty for 90 days. So. No, no, I totally understand where you're coming from, and yeah, no, I stand behind my products for sure, man. So just bring it by, and I got plenty of extra parts. Yeah, absolutely, brother, man. I appreciate you giving a call, and we'll work out the repair for you. No problem. No problem. All right. Sorry for that delay, guys. That was a customer I sold a Series X to that the power button has stopped working on. So that's not good. It's still, the system boots up just fine. It's just he has to use the controller in order to turn it on. So there's something wrong either with the Nexus cable or the power board itself, which is no problem. I can swap that out and get him back up and running, no problem. Just an unfortunate circumstance there. That's all. Okay, back to this. So we are in the process of filling these holes up with leaded solder to make it easier to wick away. Just gonna fill these leg holes with some leaded solder, and then we're gonna come in with some solder wick, and we're gonna do our best to remove as much of that as we can. Ooh, that's hot wick. All right, come into the next one. Go. Let me trim up some of this wick real quick. It's not burn my cord. All right. Alright, there we go. And come in here. We're just going to keep wicking as much of that solder away as we can. Just move the wick to try and draw in more of it. Go. Alright, and we're just going to keep wicking all this solder as much as we can away. Go ahead and take another chunk of this wick off, because this thing is eating through the wick like crazy. I need to get more wick. I need to get better wick. Alright, so coming back in. Now you do have to be careful when wicking these, because these do have sensitive components for sensing, so you don't want to tear up any of the pads or tracing or anything like that. That's going to affect how the joystick will work when we put the new one in. Just coming in here, getting the last little bit of solder that was stuck in there. Well, if we have to come in with some hot air to remove it, we will, but hopefully we don't have to do that. Alright, move the camera down a bit here. we go. You just see the solder get nice and juicy right up into that wick. Alright, gonna have to trim more wick. Oh, this thing is eating through my wick. Put a little extra flux down just to help that solder that's in there flow. We'll give it a real good clean when we're done. So, a little extra solder, or a little extra flux in there. Go. Alright, so that one I don't think has enough leaded solder on it because it does not want to come up at all. So I'm going to put an extra little bit, and I'm also going to clean my iron up. There we go. There we go. So much better. That went way easier. Put a little extra flux around here, and I'm going to come in because, again, I don't think these last ones got a whole hell of a lot. Yeah, the desoldering gun is definitely the way to go in these circumstances. You're 100% right. Go. Yeah, if I had a desoldering gun, I would absolutely be using a desoldering gun right now. It is so much easier. And honestly, really hot air. I've used hot air plenty of times to just get these things out, like I do HDMI ports. But with all the plastic in this general area right here, I'm not. I really don't want to do that. It still might end up happening, just to be clear, but I really don't want to. Bad stick drift. I mean, extraordinarily bad stick drift. And I don't like to do just the potentiometers, Demi. I prefer, if I'm going to do the potentiometer, I might as well just do the whole assembly. This way everything on it is brand new. I don't have to worry. Put a little more flux down here. And that last little blob right there. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with just doing the potentiometers. I have extra potentiometers for for instances like this, but this is actually for my nephew, and it was a gift for him doing lots of good things that he should have been doing. So his father bought a PS5 and a controller off of me, and I want to make sure it's going to last for a while. So I'd rather just do the whole thing. Yeah, exactly. It's a guarantee that everything on it is brand new, and I don't have to worry about any random issues with the new potentiometer. That then the other potentiometer fails, and it's just easier to replace the whole damn thing. All right. So now that we've gotten that done, I'm going to give it another quick clean with the toothbrush here. Okay. All right, so I am going to have to come in here and use a little bit of hot air to get the last bits of solder out, but it's not going to be nearly as much as I would have needed, so I'm okay with it. Okay. I'm going to turn this heat down to like 430. 430 is more than enough to do the job. Alright, I'm just going to put the tiniest little dabs of flux. Tweezers. Yeah, so there is a difference in ohms, as well as some of the replacements that I bought for the joystick. So yes, the joysticks are all the same as far as Xbox, PS5, PS4. The joysticks themselves are all the same. There is a difference in some of the motion of the joysticks to where it's the correct joystick, but there is not as much multi-directional functionality in some of them. So I have run into strange issues like that before. There we go. Nice and easy, no melted plastic. You got that little bit of stuck solder right there. Clear that out real quick. this one doesn't want to come out. There we go. There we go. Was trying to be a little bit of a douche. We don't allow the douchery here. No, sir. All right. Yeah, exactly. Those old N64 controllers, oh, the worst. All right. So now that the old one's out, we're going to grab our new joystick and we're going to pop that right in. Go. Gently push up into it and make sure it's firmly secure. I'm just going to tack down these two big ones over here. Make sure we got a good connection. Go. Go. Alright, so now that those are tacked down, we'll come in with a little more flux and we'll tidy up the rest of these joints. Go. All right. Go. And just go around, making sure each one of these is nice and secure. And there we go. All the solder joints nice and tidy. Oh, nice! I'm glad you got the UR, dude. Yeah, I gotta order my the broken PS5 so I can use that thing. Mine came in. I'm very excited. I can't wait to use it. Alright, so let's go ahead and, now that I don't need to worry about soldering anymore, we're going to give this a much more thorough cleaning. Well, I don't need to worry about soldering like all the legs and such. Alright, there we go. Normally flex the flip.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's interesting to note. I've never had to do that before. I've always, once I have it secured and in place, I'll just put a little gentle pressure on it, and it's always found itself centered. I'll be interested to see if that happens again. Um, we shall see. We're gonna find out. I'm just coming in and getting a lot of that flux out. Cleaning up whatever mess the other people left. There we go. Alright, looking much better. Much, much better. Alright, so just give a little brushy brush, get rid of those pesky little hairs there. And come in one more time. Sorry, just a moment. This is Roy. For not much longer, yes. Why? What's going on? Okay. Okay. So I can take it in today. I can't promise that it'll be fixed today. It probably won't be until tomorrow. But if you're okay with that, I can get it done. $80. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Is this your cell phone? I'll text it over to you. Okay, awesome. I'll shoot you a text over with the address in just a moment. All right, awesome. I'll look forward to hearing from you tomorrow. All right, thank you so much. All right, bye. Ooh, busy day today. All right, so now that we've got that back, I'm going to come in over here, recenter ourselves. Move these cables into a good soldering position. At least a relatively good soldering position. Yeah, and normally that is the case. If it wasn't Father's Day, I probably would have taken the job in. But yeah, I want to spend some time with the family and such. But I also wanted to come on here and make sure I did a bit of a stream. So yeah, it all works out. I'll tell you what I've grown to hate is these flux needles. Ugh. These things get clogged so easily. I am having a time. All right. So red to the bottom. Black to the top. PS4 Slim. Is that... Hold up. Do I still have one of those lying around? I don't know what I did with... I know we had that one that I replaced. I might have thrown it away already because it was bad, but we had that one. It's going to depend on the model number. If it's the... What is it? I think it's the AG versus the 99A 42GG. Yeah, the double GG. Okay. I got mine off of AliExpress pre-balled for like $30-something. But I mean, yeah, unless you got a donor board, it's gonna be a nightmare to try and find one. But yeah, I know AliExpress has them pre-balled. Go. All right. That's enough. All right. So now that we've got that, go ahead and put our thumbsticks back on. All right. And then when we're putting this in, we want to be mindful of this tiny little ribbon cable on the bottom here. We don't want to squish it. So we're going to take that and we're going to gently pull it out of the way as we let this fall into place. There we go. All right. And we're going to smush everything down. Reconnect our ribbon cables, most of them, because we're just going to give this a quick cursory test and make sure everything is centered as it should be. There we go. Reconnect this ribbon cable over here. Come in and do the same, this one over here. Go. All right, ribbon cables are all connected. Yeah, no, I know. It's just I like to. First of all, I'm confident. I'm very confident in what I did, and secondly, I like to be able to test everything all at once. So, I mean, if I have to desolder a couple things, oh fucking well, yeah, not a big deal. Oh. Burp. All right. All right, so before we put the whole thing back together, we are going to put the battery back in to do our testing, because the battery has to be in order to test. So we're going to secure our battery in, and I'm going to bring it over to the computer here.
Okay. And let's get you over to tester. Okay, so the buttons aren't going to work because not everything is in there. However, what is in there Alright, so it's slightly off, and I do mean slightly. Yeah, see, and then just even moving it up slightly is kind of returning it back to... Yeah, I mean, that's not nearly enough for me to be concerned about it. I'm not going to be a stickler. As long as it's not drifting, it's fine. So, alright, I'll be fine. My nephew will be fine. If this was for a customer, I'd probably go and do all of the calibration and stuff, but I'm not going to be worried about that. Alright, let's pull the battery, and let's finish the reassembly here. Alright, so we're gonna put this bracket back on. Tighten that down to make sure the board is fully connected with the ribbon cable. We're going to grab our speaker that came detached before, pop that back into place in its little bracket here. Alright, there we go. So the speaker is now back in place with the ribbon cable connected. Go ahead and connect the battery again. There we go. Set it into place. And grab our back covering. Get everything clicked into place. Make sure these two tabs down here are connected. You'll hear them snap in. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. There is some kind of calibration in most gameplay, so I'm not terribly concerned about it. And like I said, if it was for a customer, I'd make sure it was dead on, but you know, I know what my nephew's going to do to this thing, and I'm not going to put a whole lot of extra effort into something I know is going to take some hits and damage, so it's fine. His controller is now all set up. We'll do a full test on it in just a second. Coming in. Go. All right, all screwed back together. Let's go ahead and slide this little piece in here. There we go. Make sure these pop into place. You'll hear them snap in. And same thing here. There we go. Fully secure. And we'll just pop in our L1 and R1. we go. Good to go. All right. So now that it's fully put back together, we'll pop back over to our gamepad tester, and you'll see no matter how we do the left one was fine. Right one, yeah, slightly. Yeah, again, it has the little slight off center, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Oh. Ruh-roh. That's not good. None of the ribbon cable buttons are working. Yep, ribbon cable buttons are not working. Okay, well, that's probably because there's some flux on the board where the ribbon cable attachment goes to. I will take this back apart later. I'm not going to go back through and just to show you guys a cleaning, but we will make sure that that gets taken care of. I'm unfamiliar with the version 3 ones. Yeah, bumper and trigger are all fine. It's just the ribbon cable buttons. So I think there's some flux on the board where the ribbon cable connector is. I think it's probably just, it needs to be wiped down. It happens. It's just part of the thing. I should have wiped it down before I put it back together, but I'll take it back apart later. Not a huge deal. He'll be all right. I do want to get to the Switch before I go, though. So we'll deal with that later. I've been wanting to get back to this baby for a minute. So, we are back. All right, there we go. Okay, so we have our Switch Lite that we worked on. Yeah, I even knew I had to be careful about it, and I just wasn't. Okay, so we fixed this Switch Lite. Demi, you'll remember, you were here for this. We fixed this Switch Lite a couple of times now. We had the charger port replacement that needed to be done, but did not fix the problem. We had the M92 replacement that did fix the initial problem. And then when we put it back together, it still wasn't working, and we found out that the connector for the left side board here was damaged. And so we had to get a replacement connector, which we did. We found a connector, and we replaced it, and it almost kind of works. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. All right, so we have Nintendo on the screen. Alright, so we're gonna alright, so it might be easier to see on the main cam. Hang on. Okay, so we have our Switch here. Let's back this up slightly. Yeah. So, right stick, totally fine. Yeah, that's not really doing it either, is it? Hang on. Let's go back to the down cam. Okay, anyway, so, right stick. Totally fine. Left stick. No fine. Not at all. In fact, go over here all the way. So, left stick, nothing working. Down, up, left, nothing. But right works just fine. So it's not a full board death. It's just something with what I'm thinking is probably the connectors or the terminals. They're not making a great connection, but that's where we're at on it. So we're going to power it down. Turn it off. All right, it's off. All right, so I got to find my tri-tip here. Alright, so let's go ahead and take the screws out. So, in case you don't know, screw here, screw here. These are the tri-tips, these are not Phillips head screws. Move the tri-tip screws here. Flip over to the bottom, and there's two more. One here, one here. All right, and if memory serves, that is all that is required. We should just be able to pop this back off. Grab our spudger, just go around the edges here. Go. Same thing over here. Yep. Now it's trying to turn on. We don't want that. Turn it off again. All right, it is off again. All right, so just trying to be real gentle in removing this. There we go. Wanted to be difficult, we can be difficult. Alright. Alright, so with that done, alright, so we're going to switch back over to our Phillips head. Take off
this metal plate. Okay, that should be all I need to remove this plate. Oh, I'm wrong. There's a third and fourth. Okay. Alright, and baby one on the bottom over here. Okay, that should be it, right? Right, there we go. Okay, plate is off. So, this is the board that we're going to be looking at over here. So I'm just doing a quick cursory glance. Matter of fact, we'll probably pop over to the, let's pop over to the microscope. Alright, so that's the connector that we replaced. So what I'm thinking is a possibility is that maybe that connector is not fully soldered. Maybe the legs need to be adjusted slightly. That's definitely possible. And then the board itself over here. So what I'm thinking is we may just take out the board and double check all the connections on the backside just to be 100% sure. So I think that's probably where we'll start. So let's go ahead and start taking this apart a little bit. So we'll start with this little connection over here. Just gonna gently, very gently. Actually, you know what? Let's undo the screws first. Actually, I don't even need to undo those screws specifically. We're going to put those back in. Alright. So we'll take this one out. Need. There we go. Move that off to the side. Alright, we're going to go ahead and remove the bumper assembly here. Go. Be very gentle in removing the entire assembly. Go. Okay. And there are 3 screws down here. 1, 2, 3. Well, try that again. 1, 2, 3. be very careful in removing these ribbon cables. Gently pull that lock, and we're going to carefully slide that ribbon cable right out. We're going to do the same thing here. Actually, that one can stay. This one needs to come. Go. And we're going to take this one off. And same thing. I'm just going to gently, so very gently, pull that ribbon cable. Alright. With all of that out of the way, I believe we should be able to remove... Oh, there's another screw. Just kidding. That's why we remove things. There's another screw directly under that ribbon cable right there. That's good to know. Alright, there we go. Okay, now that done, we should just be able to lift this board right out. And we can indeed. Okay. Alright, so... Alright, so this ribbon cable is the potentiometer for the joystick assembly. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give a quick clean to the... So I've removed the D-pad, and those are the terminals that the magnets touch to make the D-pad work. We're going to give that a quick clean. So we're going to clean the magnets. Make sure all of that is getting a good connection. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the... Let me just check this ribbon cable real quick. See, it's bent, but I just want to make sure it's not like torn or anything. Yeah, the bend in that is fine, because it has to bend like that. Alright, let's go ahead and open up the casing for the joystick itself. Trying to keep that little gasket that they have on there intact as much as possible. So
case you can't see, there is a small gasket right here.
It's probably not called a gasket. It looks like a gasket. I'm calling it a gasket.
That's just want to make sure that all stays in place. Don't want to lose anything there. Alright, and then we have our joystick assembly. So joystick is definitely dirty. Just double checking this ribbon cable again here. Looking for any micro tears or anything that would cause it to give me some kind of inclination as to why it wouldn't be working outside of maybe the connector that was replaced. Okay, so yeah, just the bend. I don't see anything damaged. Now again, this was dropped, so I do have to, I do want to check and make sure that there's no significant damage. I'm just double checking. Yeah, all that seems okay. All right. So how does one open one of these is a question. I think I see some tabs and latches here. So having done zero research, because there is no risk involved, because this is not a customer's console, we are going to attempt to remove this cover and get to the potentiometer. Pretty sure this tab has something to do with it. Go. How do you get inside of you? I know it has to happen because you have to replace these potentiometers a lot. So I'm assuming these tabs have to come off. Well, I can do the next best thing, since I can't get it open, and I don't want to truly damage it a whole lot. I'll get some BW100. Get it into all the cracks and crevices.
getting all the way around in there. All right. Got that back in place. Alright, let's go. Now that we've got it screwed in, well, one side screwed in, we're going to pop in the other side. Alright. And we're going to oh so carefully position this back into place. Right, and where are we? Okay, so we're going to try and we're going to slide this ribbon cable over. So I'm going to have to try and keep this ribbon cable above the board. Oh, no you don't. Go. Oh, sorry, the damn bumper came loose, and I'll be damned if it's not a pain in the ass to get in. Alright, so I'm trying to keep this little ribbon cable above the board. There we go. And then we're going to get the potentiometer ribbon cable, and we're going to slide that through. Oh, no you don't. Go, just like that. And before we go anywhere, we're going to put this one little screw in here. There we go. Okay. we go. And so, now that that's done, we're going to come back in and we're going to carefully reinsert these ribbon cables. Okay, so that one's in. And the potentiometer, the joystick, I should say. Okay, that's in there. This guy. Make sure we do not break. Go. The other bumper on. Just reattaching the bumper assembly. And we're just putting on the rumble pack, reattaching everything where it needs to go. Okay. All right. Now the question is, can we test it like this? I don't think so. Well, we also have to reconnect the ribbon cable. So let's make sure we reconnect the ribbon cable. Okay, so with all of that back in place, so question is, can I turn it on like this? I don't think I can. No, I can't turn it on with the back all exposed like this, apparently. Okay, so while I have it torn apart still, I don't want to have to tear it apart again if I don't really have to. So we are going to check this connector. So let's go ahead and gently lift up this tab with our spudger. And we can then gently remove the ribbon cable. Alright, so let's come down here. Let's go ahead and take off the battery cable real quick. Alright, let's take a quick look here.
at this connector. Okay, so just looking at it right there, it does seem like it's not soldered very well. So I think we can do better with that, right? I feel like that's probably at least some of our issue. Because that connector looks horrible. Alright, so let's go ahead and fix a little bit of that real quick. Alright, so we are going to drop some flux. Alright, so we've got some flux in there. I'm going to move it onto the actual solder over there. Alright, and I'm going to have to do this extraordinarily carefully because I don't want to take it out of the chassis while I do this.
fine. We'll fix that bridge in a second. It has not gone unnoticed. There we go. Alright, bridge is fixed. Alright, so now I feel much more comfortable with where those pins are connected. So let's go ahead and get it cleaned up a little bit. So let's go ahead and give a quick test on those connectors real quick. Yep, see that one's loose. That's why I wanted to be sure. That one's also loose. Yep, loose, loose, loose. That one's good. Alright, so we got to come back in here and fix up a couple of these. That's why I wanted to double check. All right, those are all fully connected now. I can tell just by looking at them. All right, so now that we've gotten that connector actually fixed, let's go ahead and tidy these up, get rid of that flux. Okay, yeah, those are all much better soldered now. All right. Yep, all nice and shiny, fully connected, beautiful thing. All right. Okay. Now that those are all fully connected, just drying up the last of the alcohol. Well, drying as much as I Jesus, drying as much as I will anyway. And we're gonna be real gentle and careful as we first of all reinsert the battery cable. Let's make sure we do that. There we go. Alright, so battery cable is now reconnected. So we are going to very carefully and very safely there we go. Locked in place. Give it a quick little spritz. All right. So that is all of that back into place. I'm just going to put the 4 Phillips screws back to hold the metal casing in place. And then we'll put the back plate back on. So it probably was that connector that was the cause of our issue because it wasn't sending the correct signal. That seems like a reasonable assertion as to why it wasn't working, because those legs were completely not soldered. But now that they are soldered, I'm hoping that should be the last of our problems.
All right, there we go. Okay. Go. Okay. So, will it turn on? Oh wait, do I have to charge this thing? Do I have to plug the charger in to turn it on? That kind of situation? It might. It might be necessary. Alright. Hold up. Ugh. Alright. Got a charge indicator on the screen. And it's back on. Okay. Alright. So, we are back on. Touchscreen active. Well, we've got more buttons, but not all of them. And joystick is still not functional. So joystick, no good. I've got up, down, and right to work on the D-pad. But still no joystick. Man, we are batting not a lot today. So I've got up, down, and right working. Left on the D-pad does not work, and joystick still not working. Well, damn. Okay. This has already gone on entirely too long, so I am going to disappear and do some more research, and we will revisit these. Well, we will revisit this Switch probably next week. I also want to get into some UART. And now the power switch isn't working either. What the hell? And now I've got stick drift apparently. Jesus. What the hell's going on? Alright. Anyway. This thing is just becoming the stuff of horrors, and I'm not thrilled about it. So, we are going to go ahead and end it here. Happy Father's Day to everybody who came out and hung out, and yeah, it means a lot to me, genuinely. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. I will be back next week. We will probably have to tear this entire thing apart. I'm going to do a lot more research and find out why the hell it's not working. And I'm going to try and get a PS5 broken so we can practice some UART and see how that goes. So, in the meantime, you guys have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and I will see y'all next week. Goodbye.